right, it's run number 6. I've been insanely lucky so far, right? This has gone way better than I would have predicted, or way better than my previous numbers suggest I should be doing. I think there have been lots of spots where, like, I need that campfire to give a +1, and it does, right? The 50/50s, they don't necessarily go my way immediately, right? There are often have been earlier campfires, but often I've needed like 2 of 3, and it has reliably gone my way. And just I've gotten really lucky on 50/50s. Um, and just getting tiles I needed. Because I think based on the number of runs I've done, I should have cleared about 3 at this point, and I've cleared 5. So good job to me, but also I think I definitely have made some serious mistakes, and I also have gotten quite lucky. Skullstorm is really hard, by the way. I don't know how clear that is. This is a difficult challenge, and if you go in unfamiliar, I also when I started doing it, I found a challenge, a YouTuber called like EXO or something, and I watched them do some Skullstorms, and it just felt like they were making similar decisions to what I would make, yet they were obviously doing so much better. And what I eventually kind of realized was we're making some similar decisions, but they're not quite the same, and all of them are adding little bits of value to his play and subtracting from mine. So even though it feels like, oh, I can make all those decisions, I can play just as well, I was not, in fact, playing just as well, or close to as well. Anyway, what I like about the vanilla deck is it comes with power. 5 starting power is arguably the most you get from a starting deck, or tied most. I would say it's probably second or third, because when Direwolf Pup evolves, that which it often does, that deck has more innate power, and the ant deck arguably has more power if you get all 3 ants out that you can from the start. But it's clearly one of the higher power starting decks, and that just gives us room to maneuver. That gives us room to say, I can choose what to do based on what comes, and each run is going to feel much more different than the last decks we've been doing. Okay. Oh man, that's a lot of beautiful cards. So we've talked a bit in prior runs about the Direwolf, right? The Direwolf with +1 attack, if you can clear a lane, wins. Um, Getting a shield, the turtle ability, is quite nice on it. That can make it easier for it to solo the grizzly bears. Uh, Getting Death Touch on it is really good. We see Death Touch here because it can kill, and then the second strike hits the lane, and that makes it much easier to clear out the lanes. Now, here we don't really have something we want Death Touch on. I'm not saying we should go there. On the other hand, if you put Death Touch on the Mantis, you can set it up so the Mantis clears 2 lanes next to it. That can actually be a really viable route. I don't think we're going to go for that here because we have so much potential here. We could go Beehive plus Cockroach. This is something you can't go for on decks with no power, but we can here. If we could get the Cockroach Beehive to go infinite, we basically will guarantee winning, if it's our only 1 drop, guarantee winning any fight that isn't against flyers. Because as soon as it's hit, we get bees with Undying. Those are 0 cost. We can easily cheat out anything with that. But we do lose to flyers. That deck can lose to flyers. We also have the Magpie. Magpie plus Beehive is also a great combo because even if it doesn't get hit, you play a card and it tutors something, and as soon as it does get hit, you start tutoring forever. Fecundity is also great on the Beehive. A Fecund Beehive, you put it out, you get new Beehive in your hand. When it's hit, you get a bee, and that bee has Fecundity. So, as good as, like, the Mantis is a good card. We're not remotely considering it here. We are considering basically, do we want to just take 2 abilities? So that would be maybe Magpie and Cockroach. Or do we want to take Beehive and something that combos with the Beehive? Beehive and Magpie is essentially infinite tutoring if it gets hit. Beehive and Undying, you just get a bazillion bees that have Undying and you go off. Or Beehive plus Field Mice, where you don't get quite as many bees, but you can play them faster. I think So I think this is interesting. It depends what challenge you're doing. If you are doing an easier difficulty, I think you go Undying Beehive or Fecund Beehive and it's close. However, what is the way we lose? The way we lose is going to be to some big flyer. And so I think we want to go Beehive Magpie because that gets value. Is this trying to be too clever? These are all really potentially powerful options. And there's a case that I just shouldn't lock in on the Beehive. That the Beehive, while being a very good one drop, is not actually a good enough one drop. Actually, I should also seriously be considering the Undying Mantis because if we can up that one's power at all, it can play a lot like having a Mantis God with Undying, right? It only hits one less there, so you get its power up to 2-1. Suddenly it hits for 4. It's not lethal yet, but you get it up to 3-1, and suddenly it's lethaling fights instantly, and it just has Undying. That might be the choice. Oh, this is I don't like having this many choices because I think it's like if you give me one of these good options, I will correctly identify it. But you give me 5 good options. So let's list what they are. I think Mantis plus Cockroach is the kind of I want power option, which we don't need to take with this stuff. Beehive plus Cockroach is not good against flyers, but unbelievably good against everything else. Beehive plus Fecundity is very good versus all non-flyers, is useless versus flyers, but I don't think is as good as the Undying, because just being able to play those bees a million times. Yeah, if the Beehive gets hit once, you get to play everything. Well, Beehive plus Fecundity, you can play most things, but I think the Undying just a little more powerful there. But it is close, and also Field Mice is probably a better card to have in our deck until we manage to move it over. And then Magpie plus Beehive doesn't destroy neutral battles in quite the same way. Because you do spawn, like, you do get a bunch of card draw, but if your deck isn't that good, it doesn't single-handedly beat you the fight in the way the others do. But it gives us something to do versus flyers. It means we don't just lose to flyers. Oh man. So I think we had a previous run where I had a Fecund Beehive. I think there was a previous run like that. I really want to go the Undying Beehive and just hope we don't see tough fights against flyers. But I think the correct pick, it's not the correct pick early game, but I think the correct pick long run is Beehive Magpie. It could be Mantis Cockroach and it could be Beehive Cockroach. I think it's not Beehive Field Mice. I think Beehive Cockroach is a little stronger, though it's close, but I think it's just a little stronger. So I think there are 3 legitimate choices, and Mantis Beehive is kind of the lowest power of the 3, but also we should be thinking how do we respond to the threats the game throws at you. All right, we probably do take a Pack Rat here. Yeah, I think we're happy to take a Pack Rat here. We're going to get another item refill after. I'd like to be able to go left, but I think items are pretty important. Because I'd like to get the Sacrificial Altar. Also, getting Pack Rat on... There's now a case we put Pack Rat on the Beehive and item spawning on one of the other 1-drops, and just try to play a good deck. Like, try not to go into the bare hand mechanic, which I think this is a fun deck to not aim for it with. Starting with 2 1-drops makes it harder to get into, and you can just try to play, like, properly instead of forcing abuse of a mechanic. So they do have flying here, which means the Beehive is not going to block the Pronghorns, which is very annoying. You can already see it being flawed. So I'm going to put out the Stoat, and I'm going to put it far away from the Pronghorn, so it's a while before the Pronghorn gets a boost to its attack. Sadly, the Mole is going to be jumping in front of our attackers, but there's not much we can do about that. Let's main deck. We can already play a card. Alright, our Stoat won't die this turn, nor will our Bullfrog. We'll just do a little damage to the mole. And maybe what I'll do next turn, I think what I'll do next turn is yeah, this looks good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the wolf. Oh no, we have 2 cards left in our deck. Okay, so I could guarantee the wolf. I could draw a squirrel, and then double sack to the magpie, and then double sack into the wolf. The reason I really want the wolf is the wolf eats the pronghorn, and the elk fawn will then move in front of the wolf will eat that, then the wolf will eat the mole. And it will do it all without taking any damage. And I think that's really appealing. What's the other card we could draw? What's the other card we have in our deck? We played the Stoat, we played the Bullfrog, we played the Beehive, we have the Magpie. So there is the Wolf and one other card. Oh, the Pack Rat. Yeah, the Pack Rat doesn't clear out the Pronghorn. But if we draw the Pack Rat, we could play that and take out the Mole, I guess, and get an item draw. Doesn't work out quite as cleanly, but we avoid the Pronghorn dealing quite as much damage. That's not a useful item. Let's chuck it so that we can get 2 redraws for better items. Obviously, that item occasionally is key, but I'd rather have the draws. This sadly means, oh, we can still pick up the Elk Fawn because they did kill the Grand Fur. I should have calculated that out. So I guess we gotta... Oh no, we can't pick anything off this turn. So the Elk Fawn will evolve. I really screwed this one up. Okay, they surrendered. Alright, we'll just take the surrender. We're probably still winning here, but it takes us like another turn to get the thing out. We're going to be taking 4 a turn and doing 2. I will happily accept the surrender here. And we can see the Beehive against Flyers. There was just, like, no point to it. And that's not where you want to be. 2, 3 bones. Well, we don't have anything that costs bones right now, and we did generate a lot of bones last time, so going bones seems reasonable. It also never gets in the way of anything. And we have decent top-end power. We're going to get so many items. There's another item spawn up ahead. Bleach gives us most outs to beat the boss, and the fan. Alright, we now have, as long as we have 5 damage on board, we can beat the Grizzlies. Let's go right, so we have more card selection. Our deck is not at all well set up for Grizzlies, but maybe right now we do have the tools to beat it. Okay, so here we can block a hit with our Beehive. Nope, they have flying again. Jesus. Just useless. Alright, well, we got to take 2 here. And nice to see the Elk Fawn behind the Pronghorn. But it's actually now, how do we not get lethal? We have to use our items. Oh, that's a bummer. Because we could draw a thing into the Pack Rat, but the Pack Rat's not the wolf, so we can't take out the Pronghorn. So we will take damage. And we can't block any of the damage from it. Yeah, we have to use our items. So if we're going to use items, it's going to get rid of the flying. Alright, I'm going to draw from the squirrel deck. Use the item. Now our other item is useless, but now we can put the Beehive in front of this. And we'll just get some bees. And we can start hitting the empty square soon as well, though I'm in no rush on that. And I'm just going to use up the fan so I don't forget to. Maybe I should have played the Pack Rat first to see if if we draw another magical bleach, I screwed up because that combo would work. So I didn't think that through. Alright, let's get the Pack Rat out. Pack Rat will trade for the Porcupine, that's fine. I could get out the Opossum and start hitting at the Mole. May as well. And the bee's going to the far right. Right, we got a squirrel. So I didn't actually screw up, but I did screw up. So we're going to clean out our items because we do have another item refill coming up. The pack rat will trade for the porcupine. The bee will slowly heal us a bit. And the pronghorn will stop their elk from ever entering the battle. So I guess main deck. Alright, we got our wolf. Probably just leave it alone right now. Huh. Kind of a bummer to pick the beehive and immediately see only flying. And also from the elk deck, right? Not your usual place you see all the flying. Okay, just put the bee out. Chip away a little. So would be really nice to see a sacrificial altar so we can start doing things like combining the magpie and something cheaper, right? Because we could also make our other one drops good. We don't have to put it on the beehive. The beehive maybe would be a good place to put the pack rat ability so we can just cycle through items really quickly. So this turn we have lethal, so let's maximize our damage. But yeah, we really want to see sacrificial altars here. We're really trying to move abilities over and make sure every card in our deck is good. Because they started with decent power, but they didn't start with abilities. So this is a deck where we're really sacrificial altar focused, because that's where we need to play to improve our deck. Alright, these cards are trash except for the tadpole. Let's take the tadpole. If we can put a nice ability on the tadpole, again, we're really looking, but it also makes it easier for us to get out stuff like the wolf. We don't have an answer to the boss yet. We had one for a moment, but we lost it. Okay, Turner. And Pliers. That gets us to 4 damage. Or needing 4 damage. We don't have 4 damage, do we? No. We have no access to 4 damage. And so we have to go left and for the campfire. There's also a case for going double, because right now we're looking for our outs, right? What could we draw that gives us a chance? Campfire, 50% chance to be +1. If we get double Woodcarver, both something favorable, that might give us something, but I think we just have to go left. I think this is 50% chance that we build our wolf to a 4-2 and we have an out to beat the boss. We're just playing to our outs. We probably lost, because there's a 50% chance that we have a chance. And what did we get again? Flyers. Good gracious. So what I'm going to do, I think the beehive's pretty useless here. Therefore, we're going to sack it immediately, because that lets us get out the opossum faster. And then my question is, do I want to pick off the sparrow or the raven at some point? I guess we'll try to pick off the... We'll start whittling down the raven. Because if we get rid of the raven, they should be pretty easy to outpace if they don't send too many extra stuff at us. Okay, the skunk actually just beats our bullfrog, which is pretty hilarious on an 0-3. So maybe we move the bullfrog. But ideally without getting lethal. Alright, well the bullfrog will heal us 1 this turn, so we may as well take that point. Go up to 4. We'll go down to 1. We're going to need to draw... What can we even draw? If we draw the wolf... Oh, that's... Yeah, we lose. We're going to have to use items here. And if we use items, we don't have outs. So we can't use items. I'm going to draw main deck because side deck can't help. Magpie. That ain't it. I probably should have gone for the sparrow instead. So we're taking 3. If I move the bullfrog to the far right, we heal for the stoat. We heal 1 back. So we'd be at 2. The pliers aren't good enough. Everything's positioned wrong for the Turner to save us. I think even if we can survive here, we'd have to use items, so I'm just going to lose. Because I think if we use items, we don't have a way to beat the boss. Unless it was the Prospector, in which case maybe it has a chance to, if we beat the Pack Mule, it could spawn cards for us, and maybe one of those would give us a chance. But it's very slim here. All right, we lose run 1. Despite getting really good cards at the start, but the tiles never helped, right? We never got to combine them. If I had done any of the other combos, they never would have combined. As it played out, it would have been much better to have the Mantis because we just hit flyer after flyer. But if there is a pattern to what you see, but I don't think there, I mean, we happen to hit 2 hooved things with the flying totem, right? Yeah. I think that was a game of the stuff came wrong. And we just, it was hard to find tools there. So we have a campfire and a item spawn. It's useful to keep in mind. All right, I love the Warren. Yeah, we're going to take the Warren and the Field Mice. If we can combine those, the Fecund Warren, unlike the Beehive, it doesn't need to be hit to start spawning stuff. And this is just a huge amount of mana. Not infinite mana. Undying can create infinite mana. But Undying Warren decks can be annoying to play because your hand just fills up too much. So now what? I think it's probably not the items. Is the Pack Rat that useful at this point? It's not unuseful. I kind of want to take the Campfire, but I'm actually not sure what I want to boost. The argument for Campfire is you can either turn one of your 1/2s into a 3/2, which is great. 3/2 for 1 is just great value. Or you lose the card, which is also nice. But you can just run out of cards when playing these Warren decks where you kind of get rid of everything else early. I've done that a bunch. Let's take the items. That's probably the responsible decision. All full, Pack Rat. And just more 2-drops is good right now because if we get our Warren going, but even our Warren now is just so good at being able to ramp up to 2 things. Well, we want to go Sacrificial Altar or items next. Probably we should just go items. We need plans to beat the boss. Yeah, let's go items. I think we'll use our squirrel thing here. We're gonna get out the Pack Rat. All right, we can't ever kill the coyote. That's annoying. So let's play the Warren here. That'll take a point of damage. The Warren creates basically a squirrel. And then we can get out our Pack Rat, spawn a new item, and we'll sack the Warren next turn into the wolf. Alright, that's not it. We're going to go items, right? So I should use both items up at some point here. So let's do that. And this will at least mean their coyote doesn't hit us for a while. And next turn we'll play the wolf. This should be very comfortable, as most, starting fights are. Yeah, we lethal them this turn if we want to, and I kind of do. I love the Warren. Just being able to ramp up to 2 immediately is really nice. Because there's so many fights where the problem is you're taking a lot of damage early, and if you can get out ahead of that damage doing more than just 1, that can be really valuable. So I think we're going to go items. We're probably going left up ahead as well, because I hate the gold pick. Reptile can be skink. Insect can be cockroach, but it can also be ants that I don't think we want. I'll go reptile. Alright, mud turtle. It's a 2-drop. I mean, it's not a good 2-drop. We've struggled with the mud turtle before. Okay. Card draw is obviously better than flyers. We don't have 4 power. Let's go to the card. Grab a card. Okay, we have the scissors. That's big. We don't have any way to think about 5 damage, though. So we should be going Campfire here, which is good, because it means I get to avoid the gold pick again. Or the gold pick, because Obviously, I want the sacrificial altar, but doesn't seem available. Or like it's going to be relevant to us. Okay, so you will hit once and jump in front of attacks, but there's no square to get you. So we're just going to ramp into one of these. Does it matter which? Let's go the Mud Turtle. And that'll take out the Direwolf Pup before it evolves. If we get the Pack Rat, we'll use the drawing thing and try to redraw that slot because we don't have lethal yet, or a way to beat the boss yet. I should probably draw squirrels at some point. We don't have a way to beat the boss yet, and so it's really critical for us to pick up something that can, and card draw is not what's going to do it. I will actually... No, we can wait a turn on that. I was going to play the Pack Rat this turn, and I think I will play it now. So we'll use this just to see, not trying to draw any specific card, but just to see what we get out of the Pack Rat. Because if we get like another Scissors or an Hourglass, we have an answer. That isn't it. I'm just doing max damage here. We don't have anything bone cost yet, do we? We create a lot of bones here. The Warren is also good for spawning bones. Wish we had a way to take advantage of that. Right. We still have another set of tiles before the boss. That's good. We could go to items here, but I think we need such specific items. All right, let's take the Direwolf. That's 4 potential damage. And it's not impossible for us to get the Direwolf out. Yeah, now we go to the campfire. If we get a boost to attack, there's the boost to attack. Then we're going to go Direwolf, because that's the thing that can do 6. Yeah, it's not really a case for anything else. Just +1 to Direwolf, of course. Not going to take the risk. Also, a 4/5 Direwolf is not that much better than a 3/5 Direwolf, right? Like, if we now landed, if the next tile, and it can't be, because the way the game works is battle tile, card added to your deck tile, improve in some way tile. And it always cycles through those 3. And then before the boss, you get a second improved tile in a row. At the top of the screen, you can see there's 3 before the boss. Okay, there's an item spawn. We don't need an item at this point. I'm not sure which way we'll go, but I probably shouldn't use the Frozen Opossum here because we do have an answer to the boss. But I could respawn an item, and I always like respawning items. It's annoying that we're against birds again. So I'm just going to put out the wolf where the raven will go next turn so that we get rid of the raven. Because 2 flying damage a turn is just really annoying to outpace. Yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape. I think this is a good start. Worse cards than the previous run, but a better overall start. Or worse potential cards. Like, worse starting cards, I guess. Our wolf does not die next turn, but we might sack it in a moment. Because their skunk does nothing, right? Their skunk just blocks up a lane if it's not facing anything. So I'm very happy to sack the wolf. And I guess get out the Pack Rat. Do we want another item draw? Yeah, we probably do. May as well. Like, the Frozen Possum isn't useless versus the boss. It could chunk some damage, give us time. Magical Bleach. We don't have any flying, so I don't think we can do anything with that. So I think that was a downgrade. But we had a chance to upgrade, and that's not a bad thing. Actually, I don't want to... No, I should play the Stoat. I was thinking the Sparrow in a couple turns will push the Skunk in front of it, and then we won't want to have had it there, but the Sparrow will never make it over there. And we can always use it as sacrificial fodder. It is okay to sack things that aren't squirrels. In fact, often it's mandatory. Let's... yeah, I think this does slightly more overkill damage if we put out the Mud Turtle this turn. Now, if we... it's possible we would have gotten more... if the next card in our deck is the Direwolf, then I would have gotten more overkill damage by not doing this. But that's 50% shot. Okay, 33. There were 3 cards left. Alright, so I should feel free to use the Magical Bleach on the first half of the boss if it's helpful, because I don't think of any flying in our deck. Yeah, no flying. So where do we want to go? Campfire's probably the most valuable thing. Like, Woodcarver is delayed health. The Campfire is immediate. Let's go Campfire. I know we have to take a stupid pelt. Oh, if I'd used the Magical Bleach, if I thought this through, we might... yeah, we probably have enough. Oh, no, we don't have enough. But maybe I could have maximized better on the overkill damage and we could have gotten a knife. But we have to take a pelt. It sucks that it forces a pelt on you. Like, I don't blame the game for this. It just, like, things should have costs. It's just, you know, it's no fun to pay the cost of getting a stupid pelt in our deck. Alright, +1 attack. So I think we should double go the Stoat. If we get a 3/2 Stoat, that's great. If it dies, that's also good. The choice is between that or +1 attack somewhere. Do we need a 4/2 Wolf right now? No. Do we need a 3/2 Pack Rat or a 3/2 Mud Turtle? No. Warren 1/2? No, that's sacrificial fodder. Field Mice 3/2. Nice to have 2 3/2s for 2, right? That's like a wolf that makes another wolf. But A, it's kind of hard to pay for 2 of those, and B, we're probably going to move Field Mice somewhere else, for instance, the Warren at some point. So I think the move here is you double up the Stoat, and if we get a 3/2 for 1, that's just a really good 1-drop, and if we lose it, we also go, okay, I got rid of a card that weakened my deck. And now we can put Fecund on the Warren, which is great. And makes it really easy for us to pay for things like the Direwolf if we need to. Not as good as an Undying Warren. Undying Warren is one of the best combos in the game. Just so much ability to create mana. But probably, I mean, it's a pretty close thing. Right? Because the first Warren creates a rabbit. The second Warren creates another rabbit. Each of the rabbits create another rabbit. So you're sort of spawning 6 total cards. 2 of them with 1 cost, 4 of them free. Pretty obvious that's a powerful effect. Alright, so they block flying. I guess I let them come to me and then I pick it off with the Bullfrog. Gets a little hairy if they play another card in the center right row, though. So I could play the Bullfrog now, but I don't think there's any upside in that. So this is scary if they play center right. We want them to play far right. They played center right, but that's not enough to do lethal. So we can... let's play the Bullfrog and maybe next turn sack it into the Pack Rat. Maybe. But we'll play just like the minimum power needed to take stuff out, and I'm happy to give up the Bullfrog in a turn. So we go to 1 here. We have the Magical Bleach. That might prove useful at some point. The Bullfrog survives a hit. Let's play the Magical Bleach this turn, because we don't need it for phase 2. Now, we still need to do something here, but that means when the magical... that means their Coyote will never reach the field. So we could... I guess the Bullfrog's going to lapse to turn anyway, so we can do it this way to pick off the Wolf Cub. I think we should pick up the Wolf Cub. Oh, I didn't mean to sacrifice that. What an idiot. Um, that's my first misclick, and we got another magic bleach. That's funny. Alright, that's gonna kill the pack rat. That's a shame. Let's keep drawing. Okay, so now we have enough mana to get out the direwolf, and we probably just should. No, but we don't want to die this turn, so we have to attack. And that brings us to 3. So we still can't take a hit from the wolf. I'm trying to land the direwolf in the center left so it picks up the pack mule. But let's see the Warren go off here. And the direwolf's enough. We don't need to kill the pack mule. No need to be greedy. So Warren creates a Warren and a bunny. And the bunny has fecundity too, so it creates another bunny. And our Warren, our second Warren, creates more bunnies. So not only do we create enough mana for the direwolf here just by playing one Warren, but we have 2 bunnies left over. So Fecunda Warren is very powerful. And we have to put this in front of the wolf because we don't want to die. That's a good reason. Alright, we get them this turn. Let's draw main deck. We have 2 squirrels left. No need to play anything. Okay, we are in very good shape. What do we want to do moving forward? We want the Bullfrog out of our deck, right? We want to guarantee we draw the war. That's a lot of mana. Should I use the Magic Bleach here? Probably, just in case we get an item spawn. Yeah, let's use the Magic Bleach. Let's scissors. Let's not misclick. We did our first misclick just this fight when I accidentally sacked the wrong thing. And let's put Chumpers just for giggles. So I think we're in great shape, right? If we can get down to the Warren as our only 1-drop, that's excellent. And then we just want to improve the stuff the Warren can get out. And so put some nice abilities on stuff, combine stuff for like up its power. Skink is a 1-drop. Skink is by far the best card here. No, Alpha's a good card, and it doesn't get in the way of 1-drop stuff. Now, if we did get the Skink, maybe we could give it some fun ability, like item spawning, but I'd really love to get... We haven't built a Warren deck. I'd really love to build just a great Warren deck, and we're going to create so many bones when we sacrifice a million things to the Warren. Also, love getting the Prospector as the first boss. I do think when you get the bosses in the intended order, that is the most desirable. Okay, this is good. We get rid of a pelt, and we get a choice of 8 cards, which is better than a choice of 3 cards. So this is better than a... This is a very good tile for us to have gotten. Goat, Magpie, Beehive, Mantis, Direwolf Pup, Coyote. Alright, I think it's gotta be the Magpie. Because the Magpie, if we can put the Magpie ability on the Bullfrog, then we don't need to get rid of the Bullfrog. It's just very good. It gets us the Warren. So that seems... Right, the Magpie fixes any of your 1-drops to be excellent. Or 0-drops, even better if you can get it on like a Tadpole. Alright, we're definitely going to refill items. Ooh, I see Goobert. Goobert could give us... what's best here? Probably the Bleach. Okay, Turner, and Turner is our strategy for the boss. We only need that because we have the Direwolf. Are we going to want Goobert the Painter, or are we going to want the Mycologist to double up? We'll think about that after this fight. I don't think we have anything to double at the moment, so I guess it's the Painter. And creating another Warren would be fun. Yeah, so our problem in this deck is the Bullfrog. That's our worst card. And drawing it is our chance to lose. So I'm going to put this here where it can pick off a bee next turn. We're going to go down to 3 now. The Bullfrog will get killed by that flying ant. Oh, it doesn't pick off anything. Oops. Oops, that's main deck. Oh no. This is horrible. This is horrible. Do we lose? I'm gonna go to 1. And nothing will end up in the far right row. Trying to figure out a way where we can turn and steal the ant, but it never ends up over there because at the end of the turn, and it will always act last, it will push everything to the left. We just lose? If I turn here, we kill a bee. So if we attack normally, we go to 4, and then down to 2, but we can't possibly play a card next turn, so we lose, even if they draw nothing. If we turn, we also go to 2, but at least we kill the bee. I wish we could turn, bleach, and have the bee stay blocking the ant, but we have to kill it. Right, I think we have to turn. Oh no, we do. If we turn, it moves our bullfrog as well. Okay, okay, we're fine. We turn. It sucks to use items. We turn. We use the bleach, and so the bee won't move, so the ant will never come in. And now we're going even on board. Now we're fine. Because now, even if they spawn a bunch of stuff, which is scary, we play Squirrel into Magpie, into Warren, into Direwolf, and we're fine. Whew. And we can even boost the... so we can actually lethal them this turn. What a turnaround. What a turnaround. So we do have a fantastic Warren. Warren is doing work. And it creates so many bones, it's just easy for us to get out the alpha. We just really have to get rid of this bullfrog. It's a huge problem. We just barely had the items to survive this one. Oh dear. But okay. Okay. That was we found the save. I'm proud of that one. I often find that like the first fight of the next map can be one you're just not quite prepared for. So we have nothing to go to the mycologist with, so we're definitely going to Goobert. And we'll try to get another Fecund Warren. Okay, let's take the Adder. It'd be nice to get the Adder ability on the Direwolf, but on most things would be nice. If we were going the mycologist path, there would be a case for going the Mud Turtle and just doubling those, because a 2/2 for 2 is but a 4/4 for 2 is great. All right, Warren is obviously the best card in our deck, so let's duplicate this. Really hope they don't change the ability. There is some chance Goobert changes the ability. If he does, hopefully it's something just as good, but most things aren't. All right. 0-1 is fine. The stats don't matter. So now there's a 2/3 chance we draw a Warren. And I think we really should be thinking, if we survive this fight, we go top right. We'd love items, but there's no items. And if we go to the right, we can get rid of our stupid bullfrog. Or improve it. I mean, put the magpie ability on it. No bullfrog? Thank you. So we just have 1 turn kills now. If we draw the Warren and the Direwolf. And so our deck is good. This is a good deck. We had a moment of fright, but this is a good deck. And we'll put the alpha next to it just for the extra damage. And you notice we have already gotten 4 sacrifices, so we can already play the alpha. Bones card's really easy to play with the Warren setup. You just get up to 4 much more straightforwardly than normal. And it's incredible that we still have value, right? We've gotten out a 3-drop, and we still have value left. All right, so we're still really scared of the boss though, because we don't have items anymore. Okay, we're gonna take the cockroach here. I'm not sure what we want to put it on, but it's just too good an ability. Can't turn it down. And now we can improve our Bullfrog. I don't see items coming up, so I'm worried. But we could also give Undying to the Direwolf just to make sure we can punch through with that. But the Direwolf can already solo the Grizzlies, even without items, because it beats a Grizzly turn 1, turn 2 it takes 4, beats the second Grizzly, turn 3 it wins. So we can win without items now. What we need is blockers. So how are we going to lose? We're going to lose when we draw an opening Bullfrog hand. So we're going to fix our Bullfrog problem, and I think this deck's ready to go. I think we want items, but even without items, and we won't get items for the boss, so we'll need to figure out that, we'll need to set up for chumping properly. I hope we get the Angler here. It's much easier to set up and draw cards against the Angler. Happily, so here, because we got the Bullfrog and the Warren, we can use the Bullfrog to tutor the Direwolf out of our deck, and then use the Warren. And in fact, because the Warren is so good, we will be able to spawn an item as well, without even giving up our lethal. Yeah. Incredible work by the Warren. I love the Warren. Warren easily. Okay, that's a really good blocker. We need blockers for the boss. That will do it. It's not the ideal item we generally are looking for, but it's certainly sufficient here. And once again, we've created a whole pile of bones. Bullfrog now in our opening hand is the preferred opening hand, right? Bullfrog now, if it comes with a Warren, is even better. And if it doesn't come with a Warren, we can just grab a Warren. And we're going to have gotten an extra bone and have thinned our deck, all of which I think are useful. So, yeah, I think we're favorite to beat the run at this point. But that by no means means like 100%. It just means I think the scariest parts are past. Gotta be the Raven. We need things we can get out that do something. I don't like the River Turtle at all. Okay, we got the Angler second. That's great. And now we can move an ability onto something. So what will we want to move? There's definitely, we probably want to put Death Touch on something. Probably the Direwolf. But the Direwolf already clears its lane. But it means it kills it in 2 turns rather than 3. Right now, it takes a turn to kill a Grizzly, a turn to kill the second Grizzly, and a turn to win. If we give it Death Touch, it kills one and then does 3, and then kills one and does another 3. Yeah, so we're going to want to put the Adder on the Direwolf. And also, the Adder is just a low power card, right? It can kill things, but really often we need early damage, not murder. So this gets rid of a card that potentially means we're just not able to do enough damage early. So I like the Death Touch Direwolf. I think that's an upgrade. It's a much bigger upgrade if we only had a 2/5 Direwolf, because a 2/5 Direwolf cannot solo the Grizzlies, and a 2/5 Death Touch Direwolf does solo the Grizzlies. All right, what card do we want to get rid of at this point? That's an interesting question. So obviously it's not one of our 1-drops. Obviously it's not the Direwolf. It's definitely not the alpha or cockroach, which leaves us with the raven, the mud turtle, and the wolf. Flying has some upsides. Let's get rid of the 3 damage is so much more than 2. But I don't like annoying. Let's get rid of the wolf. Maybe we'll move the mud turtle ability off it later. I like the wolf. I like the wolf more than the mud turtle. I think it's better than the mud turtle. But it does have annoying on it, and that might be enough to flip it. It's probably still better, to be honest. The point of power is worth a bunch. Alright, we did get the angler. And I hope we get lucky. We never have yet, but maybe someday we will. Lucky on the kingfisher spawns. With our warrens, we have a really good sacrificial fodder to them, but we need blockers. When we beat phase 1, we're going to need to have blockers ready for phase 2. Alright, so we got basically the perfect hand, but let's see where he puts stuff. We got it! We got the lucky draw. So now we drop an Aqua Squirrel in front of the Kingfishers, and he will never play a card again. I think. If we get him third, I think he does play more cards, but if you get him second... Oh, he does here too. Okay, but he plays very few. And now the Kingfishers are gone. And it's main deck, because our Warren is pretty infinite. I'm tempted to say we just win now. Probably do. Let's put it here. We'll give it another turn, because we don't have to KO this turn, just so we can try to... So we can get one extra turn to draw stuff. And we'll lethal them next turn with Direwolf plus Alpha. And then we just need one turn of blockers, which we clearly are going to have. Right? Yeah, because if nothing else, we have the Boulder. So we'll have the Alpha, Direwolf, the Bullfrog out, and a Boulder. And I'm sure we create enough rabbits that we also have a bunch of rabbits. Alright, that's 2 bosses down. Now, World 3 is the worst. But we do have all really good 1-drops now. So I think it would be pretty hard for us to not have a good enough hand to at least have a shot. It's possible that we're really... It's possible we've effectively won already, but I'm not sure. So I don't want to... Our deck is amazing. Like, this is a very good deck. Not as amazing as, say, some Mantis God decks, but about as good as another deck is going to be. Right. Because we're at the second boss, and we can already win very comfortably without items. Right? We are already not item dependent. And that gives us both a lot of freedom in what tiles we go to, but it also is just a very good sign that we're this strong relatively early. And so the Direwolf actually does 4 here, which doesn't matter because the Death Touch is the key damage, and if it does 3 twice or 4 twice, that's still going to be enough to do the 5 needed. And incredibly important, the Direwolf comes with 5 life and does not have Annoying, because with Annoying, it dies there. Oh, I should have spawned an item. I just got, like, ooh, we win, so I'll just press spacebar. But obviously we should have spawned an item. That was horrible misplay. And now if we lose in World 3, we'll say it's because I didn't get an Hourglass there. And it's all my fault. Genuinely a huge misplay. Like, that really can come back to bite. Alright, we hate that. We hate that. Don't be a 1-drop. Oh my god. Alright, so we'll take the Porcupine, because at least we have a chance to get rid of it. But we just got a chance to lose. Serious chance to lose. We must get rid of the Porcupine. Oh, I hate when I lose runs like this. I did a stupid All right, so I'm gonna go left because first of all, I love this square, but second of all, it has a chance to get rid of the porcupine. We have a 75% chance not to have the porcupine as our opening one drop. We have 3 others, so we have some protection against it, but there's a chance we just get the porcupine and lose. 4 blood seems pretty doable. 6 health also seems pretty doable. All right, let's just count. 1, 2, 4, 6, 9, 10, 12, 13 total blood. How many hearts? 2, 4, 6, 8, 13, 15, 18, 19, 20, 22. That seems more than 1.5 times. And how many of the same species? With a couple canines. Nah, not that one. All right, let's go hearts. And if we fail, that's okay, because at least we didn't add a card to our deck, which, as we've just seen, can be a disaster. And we failed. Would we have passed one of the others? We would have passed the blood. Oh well, can't know. Alright, Goobert. So basically our best cards are our Warren, our Bullfrog, and our double Death Touch Direwolf. Let's get another Direwolf. Just some security on if something happens to go wrong with one of them. We have a second target there. Maybe the right choice was another Warren. Okay, that's a terrible ability on a Direwolf, but still. It's still a 3/5 that can still solo the boss. There's a case for getting another Warren there, or the Bullfrog. Probably the Bullfrog, because it gives us a 4th card that isn't the stupid Porcupine. Okay, we got the Warren and the Bullfrog. Okay, so this fight, we 1 turn. And we're going to get our good Direwolf, because the other one puts an egg in front of it and reduces its own damage, like an idiot. We can afford both the Direwolf and the Raven here. Not that we need the overkill, but we are about to land on the Trader Trapper. So I assume we have 15. But it's nice to have some bones there, just because we can get the knife. And the knife does give us outs if things go wrong. We'll play the Direwolf, and then we will play the Raven. Doesn't want to let me click right now. This game's a little computer intensive for me to record as well, and I apologize for choppy video. But even with choppy video, strategy remains visible, I think. We're strategists. We're not video content creators. Sorry I keep saying the royal we here, but I feel inclusive of whoever happens to be suffering through these videos, if anyone does. Which, entirely possible no one does. But when I have a game I like the strategy of, I kind of like to get myself on the record just for me, so I can go back and go, what was I thinking? And if I want to get good at this game again after having not played it for a while, what did I think when I was better at it? And also talking out ideas can be good for getting better at stuff. Where's the mouse? There you are. So this is actually a really good square for us right now, because we can buy the knife and we do not have items. And we made it to the place where we can get rid of the Porcupine. Not sure what we'll put its ability on yet. Maybe the Mud Turtle would be funny. Right. Gotta remember to look up and not just grab the pelt immediately so we can purchase the knife. And we don't want more than 1 pelt. If you have enough to buy a gold pelt, I think it's fine to buy a gold pelt and go for a rare. But this is pretty late in the game. We're on map 3. So, for instance, if we did get a Mantis God off the rare, we just don't have time to upgrade it much. So I think the upside on the rares is not actually that big. We've never played with most of them. Amalgam, Long Elk. They're perfectly decent cards. But, okay, we're getting rid of the Porcupine. Now you could say, get an Undying Porcupine. No, this is still just worse than what we have going. Maybe the Raven? Because the Raven can take more than one hit, and it means the Raven can hit back at whatever's blocking. Like, whatever's in front of it. Because it doesn't normally attack whatever's in front of it, but this way it can potentially pick something off while doing damage to the face. That seems like, I mean, you don't look at this card and go, wow, that's a game changer, but like, that seems like a nice card, right? A 2/3 flyer that nonetheless is annoying for ground stuff to deal with. I don't think we're going to go right up ahead. So I think one item is sufficient for us right now. All right, we're not seeing any like double strike or bifurcated strike, which are the worst things to see. Will we get the Bullfrog? We get the Bullfrog and the Warren. We've seen that's lethal a bunch. All right, Warren and Direwolf. There, that's enough. So two things you'll find if you look at like Reddit is people talk about Fair Hand Mechanic, FHM, and also OTK, one-turn kills. And the Mantis God deck is great at getting one-turn kills. We also saw some one-turn kills on the Black Goat deck. If you happen to be able to get out a big Moose Buck, for instance, that's kind of the classic way to get the one-turn kill on that deck. But here we've also built in, not every time, right? We don't have a forced one-turn kill. But if we do land our big Direwolf, and we have a fairly small deck, so we do draw the Direwolf a lot. If we do land it, we do get one-turn kills off it. Alright, sorry this has really started running slow. I think the longer the recording, the choppier it gets, and that it works smoother at the start. But if this is a win, that's 6 decks down, and the only 2 decks left are an absolute nightmare to do. So the last videos are just going to be video after video of me failing over and over again. But, alright. So we're gonna go left. We're going to go left for sure. Now I don't need to look at the deck. We go left here. I'd like to find something to put the Cockroach on, because the Cockroach is a great card. What would we like to see? Corpse Maggots would be nice. Grizzly gives us another big thing. The Ant Queen can just spawn a million ants if we put Cockroach on the Ant Queen. Then it's like, it's kind of garbage, but it creates a lot more garbage. That could be nice. I don't know here. Most of these cards seem not very relevant to what we're doing. I could go to just like the Bat. Just take something that's a bone cost and has some impact. Could go Wolf. The problem is, the thing that Cockroach wants to be on is something cheap, and we're not going to pick up any more cheap things. Because we don't want to. Let's go the Wolf, and I'm going to try to put the Cockroach on the Alpha, just to make the +1 a recurring effect. Yeah, I just think Wolf is a little higher impact than most of these things. We could go Grizzly, but 2 cost is a lot less than 3, even with our Fecund Warren. Which, incidentally, Fecund Warren is great, right? Clearly a super strong card. Actually, we could just get rid of the card we just got. Or we could get rid of the Mud Turtle. I don't want the Mud Turtle. Or we could up something stats. Probably right to up something stats. This doesn't make that much difference to get rid of the Mud Turtle. The Mud Turtle sucks. Eh. We're going to go to the Mycologist. Let's keep the cards, because that way there's more stuff where we could get a dupe and go to the Mycologist and double up on it. Alright, +2 help. What would actually like +2 help? Most things don't care. Like, Most things are already at the health they're not dying. Raven, maybe the alpha so it stays out a little longer. Let's go the Raven, because the Raven now has like this special benefit to living longer of just everything that hits it suffers more. I think like there are a lot of really impactful decisions. Like that opening card draw picks, like that's really impactful. That really determines the direction of your run. Ooh, bifurcated strike. This is the kind of fight where you get a game over. But there's some decisions like which should I give +2 health to, at this point at least, that just don't make a difference. So tragically, we did not get one turn lethal because we got our shitty Direwolf. What a terrible ability to get on this Direwolf. We get the Warren. Yeah, so that Turkey Vulture does 6. Does 6. That's nuts. So we're going to play everything we can. The Direwolf will, with the alpha next to it, it will spawn an egg. That's an 01 or 02. So it will kill it, do some damage to the Turkey Vulture if we put it lined up with that. And then the next strike, it will heal us enough we don't die. So yeah, let's do that. And I'm going to put the alpha center right, so that if we play another card... perfect. So this will actually kill the Turkey Vulture before it can reach the board. Now, still the other Direwolf would have been better, because we would have just killed our opponent, rather than let them live a turn. But this works well. Yeah, this is the kind of fight that's just really scary, because if that Turkey Vulture comes down, it just kills you so fast, and it has 3 health. So if you can't take it out just the turn it comes down, you lose. And then another Raven was going to come down, and a 2/3 bifurcated Raven can also really easily singly beat you. So you really need to just have a ton of power guaranteed at this point. And that's tough to have. Alright, Elk Fawn is terrible for us. Wolf Cub is terrible. We do not want a 1-drop. Let's take the Moose Buck. This means the Mycologist is not good for us, because it would force us to combine our Warrens, right? And we do not want to combine our Warrens. We want to have 2 different Warrens. So we have to avoid the Mycologist, but we can't avoid the Mycologist. We have a forced Mycologist. Oh no, our deck just got worse. Our deck just got significantly worse. Alright, we'll take the Sacrificial Altar. Probably move the Pack Rat ability onto something. Maybe onto the Cockroach, because that's just a repeatable effect. I was thinking Cockroach onto Alpha. Oh, we could combine the Direwolves. I'm a little worried about doing that, because now I'm thinking we need to beat the final boss. And I like having 2 different of these Direwolves for that. So what we'll do is we'll put the Cockroach on something, and that will be our recurring plan that guarantees we can eventually slowly beat the final boss. Maybe just like the Wolf or something. It doesn't have to be something huge, but we just want to make sure that we do have a way to eventually do enough damage. So I think Cockroach. Moose Buck's too costly. Maybe we put the Cockroach on the Pack Rat. No, I guess it's just Pack Rat on Cockroach. We create a lot of bones, and spawning items is helpful. If we spawn a Magical Bleach, that would be great. That makes the final boss easy. Especially because we have a Death Toucher in one of our Direwolves. So yeah, if we can spawn enough items, we should have an easy time. And we got the perfect order on the bosses, and we got lucky on the second boss, because the Kingfishers actually moved the way we wanted. Now, this first phase is going to be annoying. I hope we don't have a Direwolf at the start, actually. Yeah, this is better. Because we're gonna, yeah, we'll use the wolf to clear this out. I guess, so if the wolf attacks one of these, it kills it and takes a damage. Oh, this wolf doesn't have annoying. Okay. So if we go center left or center right, or sorry, far left or center right, we kill it, it turns into a thing, we attack the thing, we clear the lane. If we go center, and we die, and then that lane's open. If we go center left, we hit the empty square, they hit us, we kill them, that does 1 damage back to us, they build a trap, the lane stays blocked. I think we want the lane to stay blocked, and that way we heal a little more health, because we attacked an empty square. So yeah, let's just use this to keep the lane under control. We could actually play a cockroach already. May as well. Doesn't clear any lanes or anything, but just see what we get from the item. And we'll just, whenever we can play a cockroach, we will, I guess. Just to see what item we generate. Alright, so it's great that we're going to keep this lane closed, and we'll just be a little careful about which lanes we leave open or closed. Definitely go main deck here, we have a Warren. Alright. So the Raven could clear a lane, but we're not in any rush, so let's just pass. We'll go to 3 here. And I guess one more main deck can't hurt. Should probably not go to 1. Oh, I should have put that blocking something and let that take a hit. That was a little silly, because I could have held off a turn and just moved the damage. Let's play the Mud Turtle. Let's clear the center right lane. I don't really actually want to clear a lane because I like them only being able to hit us for 1 a turn. Yeah, because next turn they're going to hit us for 2 more. So actually we have to be careful now. Does this rabbit have fecundity? No, but we can play the cockroach. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sack the Mud Turtle to the Bullfrog. Get ourselves our win condition. Did we combine these? I forgot we combined these. Yeah, we had to. Oh, I forgot that happened. Okay. Get our Direwolf. And then we can pause because they have no damage on any of the lanes. And we can see kind of what they fill up and just draw cards to our heart's content. Alright. Looks like they're not touching the far right. So I guess we'll clear... What do we want to clear? How much health do we have? We have 2 health. So we could take a hit from the frog. But I think we probably clear the far right. So let's Aqua Squirrel. And we'll clear it with... Actually, let's clear it with the cockroach. And then we'll play the Direwolf next turn on the newly opened lane. The fan. That's no use to us. I guess the last card in our deck must be the Alpha. But I think we'd rather have the item generation than the extra point of damage from that. Direwolf Pup. I didn't know this had the Direwolf Pup. Oh man. Alright, so we'll play the Warren. Start making a million rabbits. Aqua Squirrel. Other Warren. It's funny, the direwolf pups, a direwolf spawning an egg actually means it kills the thing behind. So you can actually pick stuff off. Like, you'd rather just have the straight damage, but it is funny how it sets up an overkill. Um, and I don't want to play anything else this turn, because I don't want to open other lanes. Actually, it was fine to open other lanes. What am I doing? Could have played the cockroach that turn and had it die. I'll play it next turn, because I don't think we actually lethaled them. Alright, let's draw the alpha. Let's use the fan, just for giggles. And let's play the cockroach. Just keep spawning items. Alright, that's not useful to us, but it means we can play more things in the future. So we're going to play the cockroach again next turn. The direwolf's a one-turn kill now, right? Because it kills a wolf, a grizzly, and then it does 6. So we don't actually need to play blockers, but I will just because I always get nervous. And we're on to the final boss. My biggest worry is that our direwolf dies to the cannons, that we can't beat the cannons without the direwolf, and that we just don't have the damage. A boulder, that's not useful. Let's get rid of that, just so I don't accidentally not have an item at a point I should. I'm not sure what we should do for the final spot before the boss. Do we have pelts? We could go to the pelt place if we don't. We definitely never went to the wood carver, so there's no point, because you need to go at least twice to get anything there. I don't know if we have any sacrifices we want to make. I guess it depends what we get from this boss. If we get something we want to get rid of. Like, we can take a 1-drop here because we can immediately get rid of it. So let's just see what comes, I guess. Alright, let's take Direwolf. Probably not to keep, but just to move Double Strike to something else. Because that seems a good sacrificial altar choice, right? We have something with like a wolf, right? 3/2 wolf. So I don't think we need items. We have huge item generation. We don't need the wood carver. We don't need pelt person. Yeah, so easy sacrificial altar. We could put it on the moose buck actually. Double strike on the moose buck, because that's going to live a lot longer than other things will. And that's very good damage. Yeah, let's put it on the moose buck. Because we can... 3-drops are not that hard for us to play. You know, we don't want to play too many of them in a game. But we can play a couple. Alright, boss time. Final boss. Can we beat it with the vanilla deck? I think the vanilla deck is good. You take the cards that come, and you just get to play the game. I ended up using Fair Hand Mechanic here, but you don't have to. You can beat it without it, so you probably should aim for Fair Hand Mechanic if available. But you can really play whatever comes, and you're not immediately forced to be desperate for power, because you can handle the normal fights. You have enough power for that. But you don't really have an answer to the first boss built in, so you need a few things to come right. I'm going to get rid of one of these immediately, because these are useless against the ship, so I may as well. May as well do it this way. Oh, I didn't actually look at what our hand was. Oh, silly. Alright, let's get a Warren, because can't go wrong with a Warren. Oh, I can go wrong with a Warren. We have nothing to play. Alright. I'm going to let the Mulseaman kill us. Oh, actually, this is really bad. I shouldn't have taken that. I should have gotten something else. Okay, I need to get out one of the bones things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put. We're gonna go to 3 here. That's fine. I'm gonna put this out of the way so it doesn't die. And then we're gonna put the cockroach far right. That will draw the seaman to where it will die. Alright, fan is useless. And I think we'll just use the rabbit pelt to not take 2 damage from the skeleton when that comes. Alright, this should be under control, because skeleton crews won't last long, but they're threatening 4 damage next turn, right? They have 2 different skeletons, and the flying one we can't really block. So I think we gotta draw a card here. But it's nice that you can, it's cool that you can manipulate the mole seamen to go where you need them to go. I think that's a nice feature. Okay, this isn't really what I was wanting to do, but let's create more rabbits while we're here. And we're going to take 4 right now. Yeah, so I do need to block something. I was hoping to create enough bones for that. So I guess we put out another warren. We'll replace this warren with another warren. That will create an extra bone. Then the cockroach can both heal 1 for us and block. And spawn a new item. Alright, we got the squirrel. May as well put that in the hand. We're never going to need flying, are we? It's possible we do. If we get the magical bleach on the final boss, then you can give all your things flying and fly over it and just do damage right to the face without actually killing the ship. So let's not use that in case we draw magical bleach on our other item. Alright, so we go to 5 here. We take 2, but they have no board, so we have time here. The zombie parrot, if you take a little too much damage from like the mole seaman at the start, sometimes you just can't block the zombie parrot and that last 2 damage just kills you. And if the seamen are still there, you can't hit the opponent directly and you just lose. So that's something to be very careful about. Okay, we have a damage dealer. I think we should go for it. And this way we can dodge getting killed. And we can start hitting them as well. I'm not sure if where the things aim is random, but I think they won't pick the same spot 2 in a row. So I don't know if there's like a place I should put things down that it's less likely to aim for next turn. I just don't know. If there is strategy there, I don't have it. Can we play the cockroach again yet? No. So let's hold off. We're going to be able to... Yeah, let's just take the card draws that extending this fight gives us. We're outpacing them. We don't kill them next turn, but we get to draw a little more. And they're being very kind, not targeting the wolf. So we kill them next turn. Do I want to get the mud turtle out? I feel like I do. Why do I think that? Mostly so I can also get the cockroach out. Alright, well, we're going to have to pause this. Alright, that was a reminder to vote tomorrow. What were we doing? We have to pay 2 sacrifices to play the mud turtle. What am I doing? Lost my train of thought here. But yeah, let's get the mud turtle out. Little more damage. Damage doesn't really matter at the start of the next phase. No, why would I do this? We don't need this out yet. But I do want to end this phase. Alright, so we will put it out. Because I think the wolf is not long for this world. I think they'll target it next turn. I don't know if there's a... If I knew there was a... No, we're not trying to play the dire wolf. What am I doing? If I knew there was an order to where they target, I'd be better at placing things to dodge. That would be a way to improve. Not necessarily like better decision making in a way, but just more information leading to have access to better decisions. But I do kind of think it's random. I'm pretty sure they never... Actually, I think they never pick 2 squares that are across from each other. And so if they never aim for the square they last aimed for, and they never aim for something across, so we know... So if that's correct, then they'll target 1, 3, or 4 for their side, and 1, 2, or 3 for ours. But it won't be 1 and 1 or 3 and 3. So 4 and 2 are a little more likely, if that's correct, because there's permutations where 1 and 3 block the other one from also getting the same square. I don't know if that made any sense to anyone, but my theory is 4 for them and 2 for me, and that is what we see, are a little more likely to be targeted. Now I feel like a genius. Okay, how do we want to do this? We should play cards. And we should put something at the far right to make sure they walk into it. Just play like the Stoat there. No need to play something that costs anything. I think the Mud Turtle survives, incidentally. And we have the bones, so we may as well throw out the cockroach, see what we get. I like this item generating cockroach. Alright, we don't need 2 fans. Let's use one of them. That is thoroughly useless. I think the Mud Turtle survives, by the way. I think we did that in an earlier run. I'm not 100% sure. Hopefully, yeah, this one jumps in front of all 3, so it takes the damage, and the other one, yeah, perfect, is killed. We had to have an attacker on the far right, so one of the Mole Seamen would be in front of it, guaranteed. And take the cannon fire. Does the Mud Turtle survive? Nice. The Stoat. Okay. Let's draw our last main deck card. Now, we definitely don't want to, deck ourselves. We're going to do 4 damage here, because the cockroach and the turtle will finish the seaman, and then we'll do 4 more. I'd really love to hit for 5 this turn. So let's get up to 5. Maybe put out the raven. Let's give up the Stoat and the cockroach. This way we do 5 damage. And we can play the cockroach again. See what we get. Really trying to get Magical Bleach. Gonna cycle through till we get that. Alright, that is an absolutely useless card. We can't even use it. So it blocks a spot of items because we cannot use that card because we need to draw. So actually, if I had considered the 1 in 9 or whatever chance that we got that item and kept that in mind, I guess I made a mistake to draw the last card in my deck. I was thinking let's just see all our options, but it actually makes sense to leave 1 card in the deck. Did not think about that. So now we won't be able to combine the Magical Bleach with the fan, or at least not on the same turn, if we happen to get the Magical Bleach, which would be, as I said, fun to get. We're going to put out the Direwolf next, I guess, to pump some damage. Man, this is running slow. So, yeah, I think this is a 6th round beaten. Kind of, I've had absurd luck on these. I'm really genuinely surprised. I am not as good or successful a player as this makes me look. Though it does make me wonder, because I did like 10 to 20 runs with every deck, just to try to figure out what my true win rate was. And it makes me wonder if those runs, I just wasn't paying that much attention and started just making automatic decisions, and my win rate should be higher if I talk through decisions and I'm being more careful on them than I think it was. It's possible, but I think the more likely answer is we've just gotten very lucky. It's going to be a little hard to kill the final boss here. Especially without starving, because we've used a lot of cards. So I probably need damage pretty quick. So it would be very nice if we could spawn the Magical Bleach. Oh, we can't play this. Alright, so let's play Squirrel. Let's clear out our hand. Our hand's too big. Mole can't do damage, so we'll just get rid of it to get a bone. Is that 4 bones? That is 4 bones. Let's get an item whenever we have 4 bones. Piggy bank, that's more bones. Alright, well, we'll play it again in a moment. let's get out the Dire Wolf. I guess we need another sacrifice. Let's get out the Dire Wolf and the Moosebuck, I guess, and then put the Alpha in between them. Maybe I should hold off on this until we've giving us more chances to draw the Magical Bleach first, but I think this is okay. I'm getting really worried we're going to deck ourselves and lose. Okay. So now let's put out the Cockroach because we can spawn a new item. The Hourglass, yeah, let's take another turn after this one. That's great. That'll make it easier to get enough damage. Rabbit. Now, I think we do want to play the Moosebuck. We're going to go for big damage this turn with the Alpha in between them. This will also mean we can play the Cockroach again, which is all I ever wanted to do. And we put that center left so we can put the Alpha between them. And we have to put something in the far left to make sure the Moosebuck doesn't move around. And, oh, we don't have enough for the Cockroach. That's okay. All right, we will play the Rabbit into the Warren just to spawn more stuff. And to Mate of Bone. But we are losing some value on that lane. We don't have any other attackers. I did use the Hourglass, right? But we do so much damage these turns. Yeah, okay, we do 8, 22, 23 damage. So I think we do just kill it with this board. Right? Because we're 2 turns away from killing it, and our things will not be dead by then. The Alpha will, which actually means, but we should get it in 2 turns, right? We do 12, 15, 18, yeah. And we get the help from the Skeleton Crew. So that is sufficient. We do get there. Now we actually can't play the Cockroach again to draw more items, because we can't actually sacrifice anything on board to clear space. But at this point, we don't need to. Okay, that's the vanilla deck. I like this deck. Again, I think it's in the adaptable, not a clear built-in plan deck, but like reasonably strong, and you can do stuff with it. And it kind of proves that you should be able to beat this with most cards, because you can have cards that have no abilities, don't lock you into any plan, and it's a reasonable starting place to have a chance to beat the challenge. On the other hand, you do have serious power, right? You do have a wolf. A wolf is a very real card, very real impact in the early game. Being able to do 3 damage, wait for something to come down the lane, it picks that off, it starts hitting face for a bunch. It's just, it's a serious card, right? It's a card that has impact when it lands on the board. And when we have a card like that, that's very different than what we're going to see in the last 2 decks, that I am not excited to start trying, because this is really going to be the problem. The last 2 decks are a huge struggle, and we're going to lose runs all over the place. I hate losing runs on the 3rd map or on the final boss, just because you're so close to finishing. Unless you were really lucky to get there and just don't have a good deck, in which case you're just wondering when you're going to die. But yeah, so there are 6 decks. I think you have a legitimate chance to beat it a fair number of runs. I think from this video, like, it's pretty clear Egg is the worst of those 6. That's the only one that took us a lot of time. It's possible Vanilla is better than Bones. I don't think it should be. It doesn't make sense that it is. But my win rate with Vanilla does seem to be at least as good as my win rate with Bones, which maybe suggests I'm doing something wrong with Bones. Because if you look at that deck, like, we just won with this deck. If you look at this deck, it should be better. Direwolf Pup is better than Wolf. It is closer to being able to close out. You only have 1 1-drop, not 2, so it is easier to set up a 1-drop mechanic. Coyote is a pleasant card to have in your deck. So I think it should be a better deck, but I'm not sure I do any better with it. I'm not sure what that indicates. So I think those are kind of similar position. Bone's a little better. Egg is definitely worse, but still usable. Mantis and Blood, really strong game plan. Um, I got really lucky on both my runs. They're not invincible. It's easy for them to go wrong, but they have clear game plans that often work. And I think Null is just the most tools to whatever comes. You always have a decent shot, right? Mantis, if you like basically win 3 50-50s, you are very likely to win. Um, and go, you need a couple things to come. But the vanilla deck, almost anything that comes, you can just take whatever's best there and work within it. You do need some power. It's not completely free, but you can work with what goes in it. Like, if you get an early cockroach, you get an undying Gek, you start boosting its stats, and suddenly you have this like 3-5 for 0 that just wins games. And did we end up getting a double striking Gek? I don't think so. I think we built a double striking skink in a later run. But you can just go off that way. There's a bunch of ways you can go off with that deck. I do think it's the best deck. And our final two decks are the Ant deck and the Waterborne deck. This is going to be a tough time, but that's for another day. Ant deck next. I've only beaten the Ant deck once. I have never beaten the Waterborne deck. The Ant deck, I did 20 runs. I beat it on like the 15th run or so. This might be like 6 hours of videos where I never beat it. We'll see.